Now, I've been working in nightlife for almost a year, so pretty much I'm an expert. Since working in nightlife, though, it kind of did things to confirm thoughts I already had in my head, but it also did a very good job of changing some mindsets that I did have. I was in an environment where everyone was drunk, and I was just one of the sober guys. So there's things that you see in there that kind of makes you change your perspective because what people say is drunk actions are sober thoughts. These right here are a few mindset shifts that I had through working through nightlife. The first thing is that people with money don't really get in trouble. If you have enough money, you can pretty much do what you want. Now from the club perspective, we have rules that everyone should follow. There's dress code, creating a safe environment, but there's also no smoking. However, there's some dudes in there, if you spend enough money, they'll let you smoke weed or they'll let you smoke a cig. Or that's like they act as more of like a fine. Oh, we paid this much. When the roof's closed, sometimes you can go to the roof if you spent that money to do so. Pretty insane to me, but this can be expanded out to real life too. When you really think about it, something that really dawned in my head is that most laws and most regulations in the world, the punishment is really a fine. So say you speed, if you have enough money, you're technically not speeding because you just pay it off. Or say have the best lures in the world and now some felonies like battery. You won't be able to get that much time if you was able to pay for the best lure that can put you in the best light. So pretty much unless you do one of the 7 deadlies, like a sexual crime or murder, money can really allow you to do whatever you want. Now the next point I get is the ego that you can probably get from being able to do whatever you want with your money. And in nightlife, the people's egos in there, especially from the spinners, are crazy. Now I get it if you work in the industry. It makes sense to me why you have an ego, because you know so many people. But the people who aren't in there and all they do is spend money, the ego in there is insane. I can't count how many times when the night closes, you try to let people leave so they can go home at 3 a.m. And it's like, no, I know this guy so I can stay. Or I know this guy so I can stay. Just like in the last point, if they let them stay, what does that tell us about the rules? That the rules don't really matter that much if you spend that money. There's a huge correlation between the amount of money someone spends on something and the amount of ego that's invested in doing that thing. It could be on a very small level, like taking a coaching. Because if you take a coaching and spend all that money on a coaching, chances are you're probably going to work pretty hard to make sure the coaching works. That can be a good thing at the end of the tunnel. But the bad thing could be if you spend money and they know for a fact that they spend X amount, they can stay after. And then over time, they can build themselves into getting things for free. It's a negative precedent that you normally don't see if you're in the club drunk and just a normal person, but something that you can see once you keep on going and you see who the regulars and how they act and behave around you. Now this next one is when you go and pick your friends or even your partner, you must be extremely careful about dealing with people who like partying or like clubbing or like drinking in general. I know it's like a part of the culture, but when you look at things from a sober lens, there you see that so many people tend to make their worst decisions while under the influence, but they keep coming back to that influence to make negative decisions. For men, on the men's side, they'll put themselves in horrible situations, talking about getting into fights, getting in debt, so from the physical and the financial, all in the pursuit and for girls. Personally, I didn't think it was possible when you see stuff online about how much money people really be spending on these women. But then when you go into nightlife and you actually see who the regulars are, they have the money to do it, but man, they be wasting it. You have to make sure that you become the complete package so that you don't waste all this resource on the pursuit of something that really other people can get pretty easily just by being hot. From the girls' side, like I said before, they chase fun. And chasing fun and chasing that high can also lead to poor decisions. Going home with guys that shouldn't go home with. Getting in the sections of bad people, being around the wrong crowd. They routinely put themselves in negative situations. When it comes to getting blacked out, getting roofied, you hear stories about this stuff all the time. but yet they continue to go back to this environment. You know, just something to look out for when trying to think of people to put into your life. Because why add stress to your life? Because all it is a stressful situation, in my opinion. But the thing that carried with me the most from starting this is the idea that you really can't just be good at one thing as a guy when it comes to attraction. Now, there is this adage that people use when it comes to men, is that the attraction pillars, there tends to be 4 of them. You either gotta look good, have a lot of money, know a lot of people, or have game, which is pretty much means having a game plan, having a set game plan of accomplishing the goal. When looking at nightlife, you can kind of see how the 3 different pillars and the 4th pillar at the very end interact with each other when it comes to dealing with women. You must be the complete package. You can't just have one. Because if you have money and nothing else, then you buy the bottle, girls run to the section, drink the liquor, and then leave. Or sometimes we'll have some of our workers come and drink with you to give you the illusion and then have the workers leave. If you really have all 3, the less work you have to put in, and probably you'll realize you don't really have to do this in order to get what you want. That's just the thing that I've taken that's like the biggest thing for me. So it allows me to know that if I really want to be into it, I have to make sure that I go into it with all eyes open and not look at it from just a stance of having fun, but a stance of I can lose a lot if I don't do it right.